Think of your reputation like a currency, like what's its worth, what's its value? How do you actually build it and grow it? That's a matter of offense, not defense, right? Of how do you really protect your name? It's the only thing you actually own. It's the only thing that you can go to bed with every night that is yours. So how do you make it valuable? How do you own the narrative of how you represent yourself and show up in the world?
My today's guest is a dear friend of mine, and I'm thankful for so many things she did for me, and one specifically, which you will hear about. She is the CEO of Digital and Savvy. She's the innovator of communication in US and Middle East, and the author of the book, 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. Maha, welcome to our podcast. I feel so honored and humbled that you're here for that. At one point, you really changed my life, and I'll tell you about it later.
Wow.
And, I was preparing for this podcast. We tried once, twice, to meet, and you are busy, I'm busy, whatever. But
third time's the charm.
It's a charm. And one thing, it's very, very new, and that is your book, because when I prepared the first time the questions, the book was in preparation. But it's out, and it's 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. And I think we should talk about that first.
Okay, I'd love to.
And then review back.
This is the first podcast where I've talked about the book. This week in the UAE, actually, I announced the pre-order for my book. The book will be available in October, but you can pre-order it now. It's called 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. And it's a playbook of basically my entire life and career. And it's about how you should invest in yourself and own your future based on my experience. It's a leadership book. It's a business book, but it's also a personal development book. You'll see a lot of history and stories from my career and things that I have gone through personally and professionally. But it's a playbook. It's a playbook for anyone with ambition. It's a playbook to teach you the skills and tools that you need to have to rely on yourself. And by relying on yourself, I don't mean I don't need anybody, I can do everything myself. It's empowering to have skills that can take you places. For example, one of the skills is how do you create value for other people? If I wanted, let's take Gary, for example.
Yeah.
I didn't know Gary. I never met Gary.
Gary V.
Gary Vaynerchuk. And I'm like, I'm going to create value for him. And if I create value for him, I'm ultimately going to create value for myself because I'm going to learn a lot from working with him. I'm going to build, a really good relationship with him based on good intentions. Like my intention is to create value for you. And I might do things to create value for him. He may or may not want to do business with me after that. But now I've been with him in December, it'll be 8 years.
Oh my God.
And it started with me having the intent to create value for him. And like, okay, I have to come up. Gary Vaynerchuk has tons of businesses, tons of staff. What am I going to offer him that other people can't offer him? I have to find the value. What is the value of what I know how to do that could save him time, save him money? And that's one of the rules of self-reliance is how to be a value creator for other people. Because anything you want to achieve, you can if you know where to create value for that other person.
To be very honest, I think it's the beginning of the podcast. We want to talk about book, but I have to tell the moment I met you, it was digitally first, thanks to our dear friend Tamara.
Love Tamara.
From Entrepreneur Middle East. And you were with Gary V. And you even didn't know me. And you made a value for me. And this is how I started following you, not only as an influencer on Instagram, but someone with really a lot of things to share and not hesitating to as you said, give value to the others.
You have to. So, giving information away from free is not like, if I tell everyone. Yeah. So my mission in life is to help people communicate better. So if I give away a lot of communications advice, then they're not going to hire me or they're not going to use my company or they're not going to. That's the opposite. That's the thinking where you need to shift how you approach business because it helps build thought leadership. It helps build trust. It helps build credibility. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is how to build your personal brand. And we talk about it in the book. It's to think of your reputation like a currency, like what's its worth, what's its value, how do you actually build it and grow it? And everyone listening to your show should be building their personal brand. And that's a matter of offense, not defense, right? Of how do you really protect your name? It's the only thing you actually own. It's the only thing that you can go to bed with every night that is yours. So how do you make it valuable? How do you own the narrative of how you represent yourself and show up in the world?
But people have a problem with self-reliance. Even the big leaders. Even, like if people watched the Robbie Williams documentary, which was recently there, he was at the peak of his career in a Nebroth concert. It was 2000, maybe 7 and so. He was crying behind the stage, didn't want to go out because of the lack of self-reliance, I would say. So not only for the leaders, and there was one quote recently from FBA negotiator.
Chris
Chris
yeah,
was,
I love that.
He said, even leaders, even people in high positions, they're also struggling. They're only doing their best. Everybody's doing their best, So what would be some practical advice not to?
I mean, it's kind of, having self-reliance is not saying, oh, I don't need any help from anybody else. I can do it by myself. In fact, it's the opposite. It's like, when do you ask for help? Who do you ask for help? How do you create opportunities for yourself? What do you need having good self-awareness? Like, what am I missing? What are skills that I don't have so I can learn how to build those? We think about the upcoming rise of AI and a pandemic and, what if you had to fend for yourself by yourself a lot or all the time? Or what do? You should invest in yourself, give yourself skills. And so one of the things I do recommend for people in terms of self-reliance is like invest in yourself. No one is going to put you on top of your priority list except for you.
And when you say invest, it's not only money, it's time, it's energy.
Yeah, it's like learning,
effort.
Being curious. And by the way, everything on the internet is free. So why wouldn't you spend time, hours every week learning about AI? Why wouldn't you spend time learning how to make money using social media? Why wouldn't you use time to figure out how to be an affiliate program to make extra money on the side? Why wouldn't you learn if it's free and available access to everybody? So those who are curious to invest in themselves and to learn new skills, acquire new learning, like very basic reading. They always say that
that's an investment. Yeah.
Leaders are readers. Reading is for free. You can read on the internet. You can go to the library. If you're old school, you can read blogs, read Reddit, read Substacks. Reading is such a great skill. And by the way, it's like exercise for your brain. Like, this is one thing I learned from reading is that like exercise to our body is the same thing as like reading is to our mind. Like, if you read, it's an easy thing to do, and it's a way to invest in yourself. So I really want to encourage people to like think about, okay, how can I spend time every week? If it's 1 hour a night, if it's 10 minutes a night, spending time trying to learn something new.
Living for a decade in Dubai, that spark that is needed, that initiative that is needed is really in each and every corner of this city. Like you have the tallest building, the biggest mall, the biggest Man Island, the biggest infinity.
And the best PR and the biggest and the best. Dubai is like the bar keeps raising.
And this spark comes from, and it's really there. And people sometimes, I remember it was maybe a year ago, you were in Egypt at the conference, really, and the backdrop were the pyramids.
The pyramids, yeah. It was a rise of Egypt.
How more inspired can you be?
I was just, first of all, it was a huge accomplishment for me. I was so grateful to be there. But like, this is history, right? This is a historical venue, and I got goosebumps just being there, and it was just full circle for me. Like, I'm Egyptian, I'm born and raised in the U.S. I lived half of my life in the U.S. and the other half in Egypt and in Dubai. And Egypt is so important to me and so special to me, and I always want to like make sure that I'm giving back and mentoring women in Egypt and doing the best that I can. And being at that event was incredible.
No, so we mentioned that, being inspired, let's say we have that spark, talking to people, watching podcasts, living in Dubai, being there or in front of the pyramids and so on. But it's not only for the leaders. It's not only from the book. It's not only for the leaders, not only from the entrepreneurs. It's also for people working in some companies, but also for their private life.
Yeah, 100%.
Self-reliance is in scarcity, I would say.
Yeah, I think, one of the things is there's a whole chapter about lifelong learning. So learning is for everyone, and for doing that, unlearning and reinvesting in yourself. This is a book for, like I said, anyone with ambition. So my sister who is thinking about retiring soon from her career, she's been at one company for 30 some years. This book was for her to figure out what she can do to rely on herself going forward and what skills does she need or what ambitions does she want to pursue, because people are living longer and have side hustles that turn into their own projects.
If they have a vision.
So if she has her second act, this book is for her. My niece and nephew are, one graduated from college recently, one's going to graduate. They're young and up and coming, and they want to have skills and tools to figure out how they can build their future, because the younger generation does multiple things. They don't just do one thing. This book is for them. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to figure out what are some of the things you need to do to pass those hurdles, the entrepreneurship journey is a bunch of ebbs and flows and rocky roller coasters. I mean, it's been a great ride, but it's every day you're learning something new about how to run or not run a business, because the market changes and you got to keep up with how things change. That book is for you. So it appeals to many different people. And I wrote it in a way that would resonate with a 24-year-old and a 64-year-old.
Amazing. And this is only book is only one way of communicating stories in the essence of everything we do. But maybe the essence didn't change, like storytelling. It's always the key since Gutenberg, or even before the fire signals and the smoke signals or whatever.
Sitting around the campfire.
Exactly. But what did change in your professional career since you started in the communication and today?
Yeah, I mean, it's a wide-ranging career. I've been working for 30 plus years. I think, we live in real time. People want information in real time. Yeah. They want to get information at the pulse of their fingers. It didn't used to start that way. Obviously, a news story would happen. It would be in the paper the next day or the news the next day. You'd have like 24 hours for a cycle. Now that cycle is in real time, and people expect you to react. Like you loading a video for 5 seconds. 5 seconds is nothing. Yeah. But when we're waiting for 5 seconds for it to load, you're annoyed, right? So our relationship with time has changed. Our relationship with real time has changed. Our relationship with transparency, like we want things to be visible and transparent to us. And we know if somebody's faking it. We know if something is fake or not real or is trying to like pull a fast one on us. So I think consumers are smarter. They're really aware, and they have options. They have choices. They don't have to watch a news network. They can go direct to consumer and get it from a news source on TikTok as a person. It's not necessarily a news organization now. So everything has changed.
Everything has changed, but I would like to hear your opinion. We met also at Cannes Lions Festival at the Gary Vee's yacht, and it was really amazing. That whole environment, Cannes Lions, should be the biggest marketing festival in the world. But somehow it seems a little bit old-fashioned, I would say, rather than proactive. And I found Gary Vee's space, or this yacht, really like an island.
The way they think is very like different. Yeah. I mean, I think for a lot of ad agencies, they think of television commercial first, cut to social. Yeah. And I think his approach is obviously very unconventional, but actually how the real world actually works, people consume on social. Brands are built on social.
They live on social, yeah.
People, you should spend your time where consumers' attention is, and consumer attention is on social.
Yeah, that's definitely it. And as you said, it's much more transparent and much more organic, I would 100%. Say. And this is something that, and what are the, you're definitely the innovator and someone who is pushing the boundaries and in the industry. What is the difference in approach of digital and savvy comparing to any other communication agency?
Yeah, so we're a strategic consulting firm. We're not necessarily a PR agency, which means we help bring critical thinking and strategic thinking up front about like what's the message, what's the narrative. We help a lot of people build their personal brand. So like laying the framework. You could be a CEO of a company and you're not on LinkedIn or X, Twitter, and you want to figure out like what kind of things should I be talking about? How active should I be? I'm a CEO of a company. I should be on social, but I'm not. what's the right way for me to dip my toe in the water that's authentic to me, that's something I can keep up. So we will help somebody map out their personal brand. We also help people figure out a playbook for some of the social media, like really understanding how to work on LinkedIn. How does that couple with your other communication strategies? We help with major events. We might be helping executives come to the UAE. So we would organize visits for them to come, meet key business partners and leaders, organize press, get them to speak on the right podcasts, get them to speak on the right stages. Thinking about your brand holistically instead of just one thing, where when PR, people might just think it's media. It's actually reputation. It's much, much more than just media. So it's building the right relationships, getting invited to the private and the right events so that you can build and cultivate a business relationship, speaking at big events, doing podcasts. A lot of people focus on PR like online, and I really push the offline as well. So how do you treat people? How do you network? How do you actually do business with people? How do you treat your partners? And making sure you have a good reputation offline as well as online.
That is something that we tend to forget, because like every time we think about, we will give some release or whatever, but it is today, as you said, everything is transparent, and you do one thing in a 100%. Bad way, everybody will amplify it and hear it, and things happen in front of everybody's eyes, like
yeah.
this.
And I think also just think of the things that make you stop when you're scrolling on your phone, and make you stop to watch something, or what makes you share something on your social media or retweet it or repost it. It's something that resonated with you. It might be something that had humor, connected with you because it was relevant to culture, or it's something that you felt was so profound that you wanted to share. And I think a lot of people want to tell stories worth sharing.
No, that's definitely the key. Hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. it's always about warm people stories. It's not about the questions. It's not about the answer. It's not about
100%.
It's about people that sit and they have 70 or 80%. And this is why podcasts, I think, really are booming. Podcasts. What do you think about podcasts?
I love podcasts. So when I first started out, talking about building my own personal brand, I was like, I don't want to do videos. I don't like my hair. I don't like how I look. I'm too fat, and my hair, my makeup. But I'm like, audio, I love listening to podcasts. I love to have conversations. I'm going to start by starting a podcast. And I feel like what you consume, I listen to a variety of podcasts, is really a medium, if you can feel comfortable in it, that you can do it consistently, you should start a podcast. So I love audio because I can do it at the airport, I can do it on the plane, I can do it in the car, I can do it in traffic, I can do it at the gym, I can do it on a treadmill, I can do it on a walk, I can take it anywhere I'm going. And I love video podcasts. I like to watch videos as well, but I love the ability to either watch it or listen to it. And I feel that's a medium that lends well to me. And I feel like a lot of people learn from podcasts because there's such an abundance out there on, business podcasts, health podcasts, relationship podcasts, food podcasts, news podcasts. So it's my thing.
Just thank you. Just think of the topic which you like, and then start. So here in Podster Studios, we have more than 1,000 different people filming their podcasts. People and organizations, to be honest.
This place is amazing, by the way.
It's inspiring. Thank you very, very much. It's inspiring. Second, it's convenient. Maybe I have at home all the lights, all the cameras and everything, but to make it and go and here you just come in and go.
Everything's ready.
Everything is ready.
That's so impressive. What a beautiful space.
Thank you very much. Just started a new studio in Singapore, 4 new studios, and I'm flying there next week to have a kind of buzz around the Singapore too, where we are present for years now. But what would be the advice you would say to someone who wants to start a podcast on any kind of topic? So what would be I'm sure that many people think about to start it, but what would be your advice how to start it and what to think as first things, when starting a podcast?
I think, first of all, doing a podcast is one of the easiest ways to create content. So it's a really good medium. So I'm a very big advocate of it. I think pick a topic that you can talk about consistently, something that you're passionate about, because A, it'll come across authentic, and B, you'll be able to sustain it. So don't pick a topic for your podcast on something that you don't think you can talk about forever.
Yeah, just because everybody wants to hear about, I don't know, blockchain or Bitcoin,
Yeah,
whatever.
like somebody who's like really passionate about cars and just like in his free time is like researching cars, likes to study cars, then maybe you should start a podcast about cars. Like, so pick a topic that you're already authentically, naturally excited about. So that'd be like the first and major piece of advice I would give.
And having said that, it's obviously talking about the communication and strategy with the companies and this and that, me too. But when I come home, I cannot persuade my wife because she's extremely into K-dramas. She even started learning Korean.
Really?
And she wants to do a podcast on...
She should.
Okay, you hear this?
Yeah, she should.
But she's a banker, serious,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
How she can
Doesn't
balance
matter.
it?
It's her passions. It's her passions. People aren't in one box anymore. People have a variety of interests. So you should fuel all those passions. Life is too short. Don't put yourself in one box or the other. If she's a serious person who has a very serious career, but also loves K-dramas, good for her.
No, it's amazing. We are even traveling to Korea now because to visit the places where the things were recorded, the series.
I love that.
And when we talk about, you don't have to be in a one box. How many boxes you have? Like, I would say 10, like you like...
Me?
Communication, you like strategy, or you like business, you like spirituality and sports. You like you have so many interests. I would say.
I have,
considering your Instagram, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This
So
how I know.
I love sports. Like I love to play tennis. I love to attend NFL games, NBA games. Like it's my thing. Like I think it's just like a form of escapism. But like I like the competitive nature of like the statistics and the players and following. And it's like a hobby for me. So sports is like a big passion of mine. I sometimes work in sports, but for the most part, it's mostly my leisure thing. Obviously my family, my dog. But I feel like, I love what I do. Like I got lucky that I knew I was in love with communications. I knew I was in love with storytelling. And so I love what I do. The part that I don't love the most is the traveling. I travel.
Really?
I travel way more.
Yeah,
like I do extreme traveling sometimes, which isn't always my favorite. It's kind of draining, but I just really love doing communications, and I like the variety. Like I like being able to work on a foundation, work with someone like Gary, work with someone who's a startup or an entrepreneur. I do a ton of mentoring. Like every week, I'm spending some time talking to a student or somebody who's starting up a new company or a woman who wants to build her personal brand so she can get that into her side hustle. So it's really rewarding for me. So I have different buckets, but I also think that's what makes me
who you are,
who I am. But like it keeps me sharp. Like it keeps me on my toes so I can learn different things. Because I feel like if I'm not learning, I'm not growing. And if I'm growing, I'm dying. So like it keeps me on my toes to be able to take in all the different things life has to offer.
And being fresh to you, maybe communication, sports, just forget about and feel. So talking about basketball, I really love basketball. I played basketball as younger. But who's your favorite player?
So I'm from Minnesota.
Okay.
So I love the Timberwolves.
Okay.
So I love Anthony Edwards, and I love Karl Anthony Towns. Those are my teammates, the players on my Minnesota team for sure.
Okay, and then talking about, can I guess your favorite tennis player?
Who's my favorite tennis player?
Roger Federer.
Federer, everybody loves Federer. What's not to love?
I'm from Serbia. We are we are in the other camp.
Sorry.
No. Why? It's. I would say
the Fed. He's amazing.
Yeah,
he's a legend. He's a legend.
He is.
Actually, my all-time favorite tennis player is John McEnroe.
Oh.
So
talking about storytelling and communication,
like John McEnroe for me still is my all-time favorite tennis player, and Serena Williams, of course.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And if we touch a little bit on the NFL and Super Bowl, maybe.
Yes.
I would just like to touch on the communication part of the Super Bowl and Yeezy's ad for this Super Bowl. Have you seen his ad?
I didn't see it.
So he spent $7 million for the slot of 30 seconds in Super Bowl.
Yes, of course. Everyone's paid $7 million.
And he took his phone while he was driving and he said, okay, guys, I spent all my money on this 7 million for the slot. I don't have money, so buy my shoes. That's it.
Really?
And he did it as a selfie. And then you see the last 10 seconds, like he said everything in 15, 20 seconds. And the last 10 seconds is,
just him driving?
yeah, buy the shoes. And that's it.
Super Bowl ads. I went to the Super Bowl this year, which is obviously a great experience. But everybody likes to watch the Super Bowl because they want to watch the ads. So when you're at the game, you don't see the ads. So then I was like, afterwards, had to go catch up to see all the ads to see which ones were my favorite. The Dunkin' Donuts one was really, really popular. I heard that. I mean, I watched it afterwards. But yeah, there were some great ads.
No, but really, Las Vegas having the
they should
bowl,
host it there every year. They should host it every year.
Really, Las Vegas is the place,
Just all the hotels are next to each other, so all the activities are consolidated in one area. Las Vegas, there's always something to do. Amazing food scene. There's always tons of entertainment to do. We got to and from the stadium in and out very quickly. I've been to several Super Bowls, and it's always been very dispersed, very far away to get places. Traffic is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So that's the one drawback of sporting events. Like, people arrive at different times, but everybody leaves at the same time. And that's the part that makes it painful.
I was here at Ed Sheeran's concert, and really,
I saw him.
I love that. Like, his energy and everything was amazing. And we were stuck at the parking, not moving at all.
For hours.
Hour and a half, not just stay. It's not only.
It ruins the whole experience because you go and you have so much fun. But then, remember, I don't know if you know, several years ago, because I lived in Dubai forever. Elton John did a concert and Ed Sheeran, but then you just spent 3 hours getting home. It just ruins as long as the show.
Yeah, no, there was some accident. It was not only because of the
concert.
It was that. But anyhow, it was amazing. And,
was it in Coca-Cola Arena or was it outside?
Rugby Sevens.
Rugby
Sevens, yeah. It was amazing, but really his energy and everything. And what I liked about his performance is he's playing on the looper. He records, he loops that concert originally just for that night, and that's it. And then he deletes it. It's gone. So every concert is a masterpiece. So that's one.
The mathematical tour, right?
Yes, mathematical. Yeah, still mathematical.
I saw that. I saw that in Minnesota. No. He was amazing.
Yeah. When we talk about storytelling through music and storytelling, so we started talking about how things change and how they are transparent. So when somebody who is not into social media, and I'm sure there are a lot of, as you said, CEOs, companies, they tell you, I don't want to know anything about, but I know I need it. How do you communicate that he needs to communicate over social media?
Well, what's the alternative, right?
Oh, wow, that's strong.
Yeah, because what are they not going to communicate, not going to talk about? It even sets a good example for his employees to see what kind of ideas is he sharing, what kind of things is he talking about, where's his thoughts? Because he might not have a one-to-one relationship with all of his employees. Let's say he has a big company of a couple thousand employees. But if he can set an example by communicating internally and communicating through the public, it makes them proud to work for him. It makes them proud to be a part of an organization where he's sharing his values and his ideas and his ideals with the world. I think it's important. If you don't want to be on social media, you can be, but not have to share the personal stuff. The reason why a lot of people don't want to be in social is I don't want to post my vacations or my kids or my animals.
You don't have to, huh?
You don't have to. You can use it to build your brand. You can use it to acquire customers. You can do it to attract investors. You can do it to attract employees. You can do it to sell something. You can make money. And I feel like a lot of people are discounting the fact that it's really a consumer tool that can grow your pocketbook and the economy at the same time.
No, one thing that Gary Vee always mentions, you don't, first of all, humble beginnings. I literally go around, and I think just this week, I also shared to someone his first episode of Wine Library, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and now...
He brought it back. The show's back.
Sorry?
The show, he brought the show back.
Yeah. Wine TV, is it? Yeah, Wine Library TV. Yeah. But the thing is, you have to start somehow.
Yeah, the hardest part is starting.
How much of it is self-reliance? Like
you have to rely on yourself.
Yeah,
like no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to wake you up in the morning and say, come on, let's go to the gym. You got to do it yourself. You got to want to do it. You got to want to love yourself, to care about yourself. And I think having a good sense of what are the things I need to have to rely on myself, because a lot of it's about self-awareness. Like, what am I missing? So how can you get those skills so that you can feel a little bit better about doing it? You know, it's related to self-confidence and to self-worth.
No, this is what we see a lot with people coming in here and filming podcasts. You know, they're really inspired and they're really passionate. But there is also one more thing in the content creation industry, which is huge stopper, and this is burnout. And what would be your advice with someone? Okay, let alone my wife, you know, like whoever wants to start any kind of podcast or content creation, as you said, to communicate, let's say, through social media or internally. What would be advice not to have a burnout and still be available and be consistent, you know? Like,
obviously you need to make sure it's something you can take on. So burnout happens because you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to overdo things, or you're really trying to achieve more than your bandwidth and your time allows. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself, you're getting sleep. Like I sleep 8 hours a day. Like I prioritize my sleep. I do, because I can't function if I don't sleep. I prioritize my nutrition, like making sure like I'm getting, okay, I'm not eating 100% clean all the time, but like I'm not eating French fries every day, you know, and I'm making sure that I'm eating things that are nourishing myself. So like burnout happens when you aren't taking care of your personal or your professional balances. And you have to make sure that you're making deposits in the right areas in your life so that you're not depleting all your resources.
And try to make it in the most efficient way, the communication.
Yeah, like don't take on a new project to start a podcast or to do content creation when you're already burning the midnight oil at work and your family has had enough of you. Like you got to take care of those pieces first and make room in your life for the things that you actually want to pursue.
That's really...
The other thing is, I think a lot of people are like in a hurry. Like you're in a hurry to get things done. Just once you take the pressure off yourself of like, okay, I'm going to give myself 6 months to get my life together, and then I'm going to start this side project. Give yourself that. A lot of people are like, I feel like pressure from seeing what everyone else is doing, that I'm not doing enough, or I'm not doing good enough, or stop comparing, because you don't know what's going on in their lives. You don't know what they're showing on social media is actually what's happening in their actual life at all. Yeah. And so stop putting pressure on yourself to feel the need to do something because other people are doing, and do something because you actually care about it and want to do it. Because once you start it, don't start it to stop it, start it to sustain it.
No, that's really important. I'm really doing my best in the past years. Didn't care too much about what I eat and so on. So I did triathlons before. I did basketball, you know, tennis, whatever, you know, and the things are going back. But one of the doctors really said exactly that to me. Yes, it is nutrition. Yes, it is exercise, you know, but call it a stress. So you have to, and you call it a void. How do you just mention? You have to put things on their place, fill the voids and everything, and then start, you know, like, because you cannot, if you're stressed out, nervous, you don't eat well, or you don't exercise.
You'll make mistakes too, and you won't be able to sustain it.
Yeah, that's well. So the book is coming out in October.
But you can pre-order now, please. I would love everyone to pre-order. And because you'll sign up, you'll be a part of my journey. You'll get invited to some private events that happen before the book comes out.
Wow.
You'll get extra things like workshops and training and exposure to some of the people I'm working with. So please sign up for the pre-order journey, because that's where the secret stuff happens.
Wow. Utilities.
Yes.
Utilities all around.
Yes, actually it is.
Yeah, but I see it as a community.
Yes.
And I think that's the key of everything that we do. Finding like-minded people that care about one certain topic. Doesn't have to be only one, but one sports, this and that. But this is about self-reliance, about I'm sure a lot of communication there, personal branding.
Learn how to
and,
build your personal
yeah.
brand, how to create value for other people, how to think of your reputation in terms of currency, not being a waiter. How do you think long term? How do you live with no regrets? There's lots of advice in there.
Amazing. Maha, thank you very much for being in our podcast. It really is a pleasure. And I'm sure, our house, your house, mi casa, casa.
I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. Definitely. You're invited, please, anytime. It was really nice having you. And hopefully, I will pre-order book now. So I want to see the perks coming in from the community.
Yes, and you'll be a part of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you can sign up on my website, mahaabouelenein.com.
Yeah.
And sign up and you'll get into the community.
Amazing. We'll do 100%. Thank you very much. And good luck with the book and everything that you do. And I wish you for this year to have a little bit less travel, a little bit less.
Yes.
And just enjoy.
This summer, I'm going to stay home.
Oh, that's
Thank
amazing.
you so much for having me. This is wonderful. I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful that you were here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.